By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to find the surface area of prisms, cylinders, pyramids, and cones. All right, so surface area is the area of all the sides of a 3D object. Okay, so prisms consist of two parallel bases, so a triangle base or a rectangle base in this cases, and the surface area is the area of all those faces and the area of the bases. Okay, all right, so, and these are kind of backwards from what you have, like if you look, like that's here and this one's here. That's what I mean by backwards. So the surface area of a rectangular prism is 2 times the length times the width, all right, plus 2 times the length times the height, plus 2 times the width times the height. So what they're doing there is 2 length times width is, that's two sides that are the same. So like this one and that one. And then 2 length times width would be like this one and this one. And then finally 2 times width times height would be like this one and this one. Okay, so that's where that formula comes from. So 2 surface area equals 2 length W plus 2 length height plus 2 width height. And again, it doesn't matter which one you make length, width, and height when it comes to rectangular prisms. I like to label them that way I don't actually use one twice or one not at all. Alright, so 2 times 14 times 13 plus 2 times 14 times 22 plus 2 times 13 times 22. And when I put that in the calculator, I get 1,502 inches squared. So make sure you can type that in and get that as the solution. Again, I highly recommend you guys using the Desmos calculator for this. If you're using another type of calculator, make sure you do order of operations. So you do all the multiplying first and then add those three things together. So you do 2 times 14 times 13, 2 times 14 times 22, 2 times 13 times 22, and then you add those three numbers together. All right, or if you're doing Desmos, you can type it all in one step. For number 2, now we're going to do surface area equals HP plus 2B. So let's talk about what each of those things mean. So surface area, this is the height of prism, plus the times the perimeter of the base, all right, and then 2 times B, and that's the area of the base. All right, so the height of our prism is 10. Remember, your height is the distance between the two bases. The perimeter of the base, in our case, is 8, 15, and then this is 17 because it's the same here. Remember, perimeter, you add up the sides. Okay, so that's the perimeter of this triangle, which is our base. All right, plus 2 times the area of the base, and our base is a triangle, so 1/2 base times height. The base of our triangle is 15, and the height is 8. Okay, so again, our base in this case was 1/2 base times height of the triangle. Right? Right, and then remember, perimeter, you add up all the sides. So when I put that in the calculator, I should get 520 inches squared. Again, practice putting that in the calculator. Make sure you get the same number I do. If you have to do this in a calculator, it's not the Decimus calculator, you would add, do what's in parentheses, so add 18, 15, and 17, multiply 1/2, 15, and 8, then do 2 times whatever number you got when you added those, and 2 times whatever number you got, multiply those, and add that together. But again, if you use the Decimus calculator, you can type that all in one step and not have to worry about order of operations, which is good because it does it for you. Surface area of cylinders. As with a prism, the surface area of cylinder is the sum of the lateral area. So lateral area is the area of this part here, the part that isn't the base. So this here, okay, so the area of that plus the area of the two bases. And if you unroll it, you get what's called your net, the netting of it. And so it's the area of those two circles and then that rectangle in between. All right, so here's the area of those two circles, and this is the area of that rectangle in between. 2 pi r, which is the circumference of, of those circles. That's how long that rectangle would be, times the height of the prism. So surface area of this guy equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So it's 2 times 3.14. The radius is 4.6 squared plus 2 times 3.14 times the radius times the, whoops, that's not the radius, 4.6 times the height of the cylinder, which is 6. Right? And when you put that in the calculator, you should get 306.2 meters squared. Again, you need to practice. Make sure you get it in there. If you're not getting that, you need to let me know so I can help you with that. All right, let's look at number 2. So we're going to do 2 times pi and then r squared. The radius is 12 plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. Remember, the height is just your distance between your two bases. All right, that's what the height of a cylinder and a prism are. All right, and when I put that in the calculator, it 1,507.2 millimeters squared. Okay, so 2 times pi times the radius squared plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. And even if you were taking an SOL with this, you're allowed to have these formulas in front of you. So these aren't formulas you would ever have to memorize. You just need to know how to use them. All right, surface area of pyramids and surface area of pyramids, regular pyramids. Let's just say surface area of pyramids, and they talk about regular pyramids. Regular just means that it's not slanted. All right, so let me write this down, but a regular pyramid would look like that, so it's up, but like a slanted pyramid, maybe the height would be over here, so everything's slanted over. Okay, so we don't talk about this. We're talking about the surface area of a regular pyramid. All right, so the surface area of a pyramid is the surface area of your base, the area of your base. Okay, so it's the area of base. But what you're adding to it is the area of all of those triangles that meet up to the base. Okay, so this is the perimeter of base. Remember, at perimeter, you add up all the sides, so there's just one sides. And this is called your slant height. Your slant height, so the height of your pyramid is just how tall you are. So this is my height, okay, from the bottom to the top. The slant height is how this distance here, or on the side of your pyramid, is called your slant height. So if I'm going to do the surface area of this square pyramid, it's going to be 1/2 the slant height, which is 9, times the perimeter, which is 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. all right, plus the area of the base. And our base here is length times width. All right, so that'd be 10 times 10, length, width. Remember, perimeter, you add up all the sides of the base. All right, so that's where I got 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. Okay? And when I put that in the calculator, I get 280, and it's centimeters squared since we're doing area. For some of these problems, they're just going to give you what the area of the base is, just to keep the level of difficulty down, basically, of the problem. So here's our base. All right. The area of that base they give to us, so that's going to be what big B is in this case. The perimeter, or P, of this one is going to be 6 plus 6 plus 6, because those are the sides of the triangle, 6, 6, and 6. Alright, so surface area equals 1/2 the slant height, the perimeter, and the base. So 1/2 the slant height. Here's our slant height. It's 7.8. It's kind of hard to see. There's a lot of stuff there. The perimeter is 6 plus 6 plus 6. And then they give us the area of the base, which is 5.6 millimeters squared. Oh, we don't need to put the millimeters squared there. We can wait till the end to do that. All right. And then that's going to give me 85.8, and now we'll write millimeters squared. So surface area of a pyramid is 1/2 the slant height, which is the height of the triangles that meet at the top. It's like it's the height of the slant, if you will. The perimeter of the base, so you add up all the sides of the base, plus the area of the base. And sometimes they give you the area of the base, and then sometimes you have to find it. So in number 2, it was a square, so it's length times width. Surface area of cones. So again, we're going to talk about a slant height again. That is not the right formula, people. So what's funny is, I don't know where I got that from. So let's go boopity boop, 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 boop. That's not the right slant height. Okay, so let's talk about the surface area. I meant to change that and I totally forgot. All right, so it's 1/2 the slant height times the perimeter. I'm writing the same thing again. All right. Surface area equals pi times r times the slant height plus pi r squared. So this is the area of the part that kind of unfolds like that, and then if you have the circle and you'd wrap that around the circle. So that's the pi r l part, and then pi r squared is the area of the circle. I guess it would be more like this. Oops. Put that at the bottom. Those look weird. They look like bells. Okay, so let's look at number 2. All right, so let's do that. So surface area equals pi r slant height. Remember, slant height is this distance here, okay, on the slant, plus pi r squared. So 3.14. The radius is 8.6. The slant height is 6.8 plus 3.14 times r squared, 8.6 squared. And I'm going to write that neater because that's hard to see. All right. So the slant height is 6.8. The radius is 8.6. And when I put that in the calculator, I get 415.8, and then it's yards squared. All right, so for this one, the radius could be half of that diameter, which is 5.4. The radius is 10.8. half of that is 5.4. So we're going to put that into the formula, and let's write it again just because I wrote it wrong the first time. I don't know. I must have gone crazy with my copy and pasting. Alright, so 3.14 times the radius times the slant height, which is 7.2, plus the pi, and then radius squared. So radius, slant height, and pi is what we use for this. Alright, and when I put that in the calculator, I get 213.6 millimeters squared. So make sure you fix that formula on the notes, since I forgot to do that. I really meant to. I wonder if I'll fix it before. Maybe it'll be fixed when you get your copy of the notes, if I remember. Okay. So the only thing I forgot to say is now it's time for your assignment. So you do numbers 1 through 3, and then 1 through 6. Don't forget about your rounding plots. So again, surface area is the area of all the sides of your 3D object.